Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're taking a bit of a deep breath ourselves, actually. We're diving into something pretty fundamental breathing, but not just any breathing. We're talking about a specific technique, square breathing. You might hear it called respiration quadrata 2. It's old, really old, but apparently incredibly powerful.
That's right. And the sources we're looking at today, they go way beyond just a how-to. They really dig into the why. Why does this simple thing have such a, well, profound impact on almost everything? Digestion, sleep, even how clearly you think.
Yeah, so our mission really is to unpack that. How can just changing your breathing pattern, reset your whole system? It sounds almost too simple, but let's get into it. Because it's not just about oxygen, is it?
Not at all. That's the first big idea from the source material. We tend to think of our bodies in parts lungs here, stomach there, but the material emphasizes quite strongly that we are a context. Everything's interconnected.
Okay, context. I like that.
Yeah, so when we breathe using this technique, we're not just oxygenating the obvious places like the brain, we're also improving delivery to what are called peripheral tissues. Think hands and feet, and crucially to our visceral organs.
Ah, okay. Visceral organs. So that's the link to digestion then.
Exactly. That's where the direct connection comes in. It's about getting that vital oxygen
Yeah.
and, well, signaling to those internal systems.
So how does taking a specific kind of breath actually talk to my stomach, for instance? That's the really fascinating part for me.
Right. It boils down to something called the vagal system, the vagus nerve specifically. Think of it as this huge communication highway running through your body, regulating, almost everything. It's key for balancing our nervous system states.
Nervous system states. You mean like stress and relaxation?
Precisely. The source highlights two main modes. First, there's sympathicatonia. That's your fight or flight response. The body's on high alert, emergency mode.
Got it. Alarm bells ringing.
Then there's parasympathicatonia. This is the rest and digest state. And this is the one we need to be in for optimal health, for repair, for actually absorbing nutrients.
Makes total sense. I mean, who can properly digest a meal when they feel like they're running from danger, right?
Exactly. And the source points out some really significant problems when we get stuck in that sympathetic, that fight or flight mode for too long.
Okay, like what?
Well, let's talk eating habits first. You might completely lose your appetite. The source even uses the term anorexia in this context, meaning loss of appetite due to that constant stress signal.
Wow. Or the opposite happens, right?
Or the opposite. You might find yourself binging, especially on those hypercaloric or hyperpalatable foods. Think sugary, fatty, salty stuff.
Comfort food, basically.
Kind of, but there's a reason. Our ancient brain wiring says, danger, get quick energy. And modern food science, well, it's gotten really good at creating foods that hijack that system. The source says they confuse our tastes, making us think we're getting nourishment when we're actually potentially intoxicating ourselves.
Oof, that's a strong word. Intoxicating. Okay, so eating gets messed up. What else?
Sleep. Definitely sleep.
Mm,
They talk about this knife under the pillow syndrome.
sounds unsettling.
It is. It means you're sleeping very lightly, waking up a lot, feeling totally unrested, even if you're in bed for, say, 8 hours.
That 3 a.m. wide awake feeling.
That's often part of it. And maybe you even wander to the fridge, which is another symptom tied into that dysregulated stress response.
Okay, eating, sleeping.
Yeah.
What about just like energy, daily energy?
Big impact there, too. Chronic stress messes with your cortisol, the main stress hormone, so you end up feeling drained. No will, no desire, no energy for exercise.
How do you
And
get?
if you do manage to push yourself to exercise,
Let me guess. More prone to injury.
you got it. Because, as the source puts it, energy is not unlimited. You're already running on fumes from the stress.
Huh. Okay, so living in this constant on state, this sympathetic overdrive, it really prevents basic stuff like digesting food properly, getting good sleep, managing energy.
Pretty much, it blocks those essential restorative functions.
So this brings us back to square breathing. This is positioned as the tool, the way to consciously shift gears, right?
Hmm.
Described as miraculous, but also archaic.
Mm.
Simple, but effective. So how do we actually do it?
The core method is that 4-4-4-4 rhythm. It's really straightforward.
Okay.
You breathe in smoothly for a count of 4 seconds. Then you just hold the air in your lungs gently for 4 seconds.
Hold it in, okay?
Then you exhale, again slowly and smoothly, for 4 seconds.
Exhale for 4.
And finally, you hold your lungs empty for 4 seconds, just a gentle pause before you inhale again and start the next cycle.
Hold 4, hold 4, out 4, hold 4. Okay, sounds simple enough.
It is, but there's some really important things to keep in mind. This isn't just relaxing, it's actively modifying the behavior of our nervous system.
Right, so be careful.
Exactly. Approach it with awareness. The source material is clear. Some people, especially at first, might feel a bit dizzy, maybe some tingling, or even, in some cases, feelings of anxiety or a panic attack. They mention a doctor who actually had one trying it initially.
Whoa, okay, so what do you do if that happens?
Stop. Simple as that. Or just adapt the timing. If 4 seconds feels like too much, especially the holds, try 3-3-3-3. Or even 2-2-2-2.
Ah, okay, so shorten the counts.
Yeah. The goal, particularly when you're starting out, is consistency and comfort. Don't force the 4-second count if it doesn't feel right yet. Build up to it.
Makes sense. Ease into it.
And you can combine it with other things too, maybe while meditating or listening to binaural beats if you like that, or even integrate ujjayi breathing. That's the one where you slightly constrict the back of your throat.
Oh yeah, the sort of oceanic sound.
That's the one, that gentle frictioning the air in the glottis actually helps to massage the vagus nerve too, so it can enhance the effect.
Interesting. Now, I think the source also mentioned a slightly different pattern, something more advanced for deeper relaxation.
Yes, there's a variation focused more heavily on the exhale. It's a 3-6 pattern.
3-6. How does that work?
You inhale for 3 seconds, hold the breath in for 3 seconds, but then you really extend the exhale, making it last for 6 seconds.
Okay, inhale 3, hold 3, exhale 6.
Right. Then maybe a very brief pause before the next inhale. That longer exhale is known to be particularly effective at stimulating the parasympathetic system.
The rest and digest one.
Exactly. So it can really help deepen that relaxation response.
Okay, so we learn the technique, we practice it consistently, maybe starting with 2s or 3s and building up. What's the payoff? What can you realistically expect to notice? What does this mean for you listening?
Well, the outcomes described are pretty compelling. First off, just a general sense of profound relaxation,
Right.
better quality rest, feeling more restored.
That alone sounds good.
Definitely. Then there's improved neuroplasticity, which basically means you get better at adapting.
Adapting, like rolling with punches when plans change.
Yeah, exactly. Less rattled by unexpected stuff, more mental flexibility.
Okay, nice. What about the physical stuff like digestion?
That's a big one. People often report improved digestion, sometimes even a noticeable feeling like their stomach and intestines are, more active, working better.
Interesting. Any other signs it's working?
One that might seem odd is sometimes feeling a bit sweaty or damp.
Really? Why is that?
It's actually seen as a good sign. It suggests your sympathetic and parasympathetic systems are actively communicating and finding a better balance. It's part of the re-regulation process.
Huh. Okay. So where would you actually use this? What are the practical moments?
Lots of places. The source suggests trying it before meals.
To prime for digestion, right?
Exactly. Signal to your body. Okay, time to receive food.
Well.
Also, obviously, before sleeping, great way to wind down.
Before work, maybe, to center yourself.
Absolutely. Before starting your workday. And maybe most powerfully when you're facing a problem.
A difficult situation. How does it help there?
It seems to improve judgment and tolerance. Gives you that pause, that space to respond more calmly and clearly instead of just reacting out of stress.
It really is quite something, isn't it? That this thing we do constantly, breathing, mostly without thinking, can be consciously used as such a powerful lever to shift our whole state, our physiology, our mood, our thinking.
It's fundamental, and it really does raise a big question, I think.
Which is?
Well, just think about it. How might your life change, really, if you started building in even just a few moments of this kind of intentional breathing throughout your day? How could these tiny pauses, using something as simple as square breathing, affect how you handle stress, how you digest your food, how well you sleep, maybe even how you approach problems?
It's about reclaiming some control over our own nervous system, isn't it?
It really is. It's accessing your body's built-in capacity for balance and healing. So maybe the best thing is just to try it. Experiment. See what you notice.